When men are falling in love, they always do this. Well, it's not just one thing, it's a list of things, but when you understand men, this list becomes really obvious. Why spend more time wondering, guessing, dissecting, when you can have a very clear list on exactly what it looks like when a man actually is in love, which is what I'm gonna provide to you in this video. That way, when you're dealing with a man and you have this checklist, the answer is either yes, my man is doing these things because he's falling in love with me, or no, my man is not doing these things, so he is not falling in love with me. Let's start with our first point, which is he understands how to handle you. Now, I know when I say the words handle you, it sounds like it has a negative connotation, like it's some sort of control. What I mean though is he understands what you need at different times, even in ways that you have to give him credit, like, damn, you're kind of right. I know you're right, but like, I don't want to admit you're right. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's say you're like throwing a fit. You're just like in a mood. You're being bratty. For whatever reason, you just feel within you like you're just peeing me off. Everything that you do, just you breathing is peeing me off. And so you can feel in yourself that you're getting really agitated very easily. And instead of him like being all discombobulated and be like, why are you being mean to me? You don't usually act like this. He's like, oh, okay. All right. No worries. All right. We're going right now. And you're like, what? Where are we going? He's like, don't worry. We're going to your favorite food spot because obviously you're acting like this because you're hungry, or I should say you're hangry. So before we even do this back and forth and we pretend like it's something else, you're really just hungry. You get food in you. You'll be fine. Everything, like the sunshine will open up, the rainbows will open up, and you'll feel like all the stuff you were mad about before all of a sudden doesn't matter anymore. Why? Because you got some food in you. And then you're sitting there and you're kind of like, you're agitated still. So you're like, what makes you think that it's not, I'm not even hungry. It's not about food. But then when you get the food in you and he gets you your favorite meal, because he knows your favorite meal, this is part of understanding how to handle you. So he gets you your favorite meal, you eat your favorite meal, and then you realize, yeah, it was mostly the fact that I'm pretty hungry. Yeah, that's really what it was. Because now that I ate, I feel good. I feel better. All the stuff that I was mad about before, I can't even remember what I was mad about before. And you realize, wow, not only does this man understand me in terms of like understanding what I need before I ask, but he even understands what I need even better than I understand what I need at certain times. Because I don't even realize that if I were to just eat something, I would feel so much better. And that's the root of my agitation. But he understands that that's the reason. By the way, if you want to join my private community, ask me a question, or get one-on-one coaching from me, the link is in my YouTube description and also in the pinned comment below. Another really important part of this checklist is when a man has no agenda in contacting you. What you'll be used to when a man is trying to take advantage of you or use you is he'll always contact you when he specifically needs something from you. Whether he needs what's in between your legs, whether he needs what's, going on in your mouth, all that warmth going on in your mouth, or he wants some attention or something along those lines. What you'll realize with the men that are truly falling in love with you is they reach out to you with literally no agenda. Like they're just like, oh, hey, I just wanted to call you, I just wanted to hear your voice and just chit chat about like literally nothing. Like it doesn't matter to me what we talk about. I just want to like do things with you and do things with you around and have conversation with you and just like have your presence be there. It doesn't need to be for any specific reason. And that's when you should clue in and realize men don't do that for everyone, okay? If he literally just wants your presence to just be present and he doesn't need you to do anything while being present, there's no particular motive or there's no particular, hey, I'm calling you because I want you to come over and slurp me off. I'm calling you because I want to go over there and I want to do some stuff to you, relieve my, you know what I mean? Like, or even where it's like he's just contacting you anytime something that he needs from you is, the reason why he feels like he needs to reach out to you. And you notice that like it doesn't matter if there's a reason. He will contact you just for the sake of contacting you. And if he doesn't need any reason to contact you, then what other reason could it be other than that his feelings for you create a deep burning desire that he just wants to have you present, regardless of whether something is going on or not. Another really key sign that a man is falling in love is he has very good anticipation for your needs. Now, this is a little bit different than understanding how to handle you. When I talk about anticipation, what I'm referring to is his ability to understand, okay, based on patterns of behavior in the past and past desires, I understand that whenever this thing is happening, this is exactly what she needs at this moment based on her patterns of behavior. Let me explain an example of what I'm referring to with anticipation. So for example, let's say every time you're on your period, you crave chocolate. But not just any chocolate, you crave a very particular type of chocolate with very particular nuts in it. Let's say you crave specifically Snickers, okay? And Snickers, or an exact type of Snickers, is the one that you like, right? And so he understands that, hey, anytime that you're on your period, you always crave a Snickers bar. So let's say one day you're over at his place and you happen to let him know, oh, damn, I didn't expect my period to come, but my period is here now. And he's like, oh, don't worry. And then he goes to the store, he grabs you a box of tampons, but then when he grabs you the box of tampons, he also grabs Snickers for you. And you're like, wait, why'd you grab the Snickers? And he's like, because I know and I see and observe you that every time you get on your period, you either eat Snickers or you talk about craving Snickers because that's the thing that you crave on your period. So rather than waiting for you to mention the fact that you're craving Snickers, when I went to the store, I just grabbed Snickers for you in anticipation for your needs. For next on the checklist, this is a really interesting one. He remembers really small, seemingly insignificant details about what you like and why you like it. And he brings it up in random places where you're just like, damn, you remember that? Let me give you an example of what I'm referring to. Let's say that you really, really like red Skittles. For whatever reason, anytime you eat a bag of Skittles, and let's say you guys go to the movies regularly, so you guys are always having candy and stuff in the house, and anytime you have a bag of Skittles, you always pick out specifically the red ones, and you like to eat all the red ones first, right? Because that's your favorite color of Skittles, even though they basically all taste the same. And so let's say, for the sake of example, he's eating a bag of Skittles randomly in the car, and then he's like, here. And then you're like, wait, what? You're giving me like only a couple in the bag? He's like, no. I ate only the ones that aren't red, and then I saved you all the red Skittles because I know you like the red Skittles specifically. And you're like, wait a second, I never really, like, you remember that? It was just like kind of like a thing that I've always done since I was a kid. Like, you remembered that I only eat the red Skittles, or those are my favorite, and you saved me specifically the red Skittles, even though I've acknowledged to myself and you that they all taste the same. I just like the fact that they're red, and I've done it since I was a kid. And it's like, yeah, I remembered it. So yeah, I still save you the red Skittles. I don't eat the red Skittles. I wouldn't dare eat the red Skittles in your presence. You get the red Skittles. And you're just like, damn, you really care about something so small and insignificant, but you care about it like it really, really matters, and it really, really changes things. It's a perfect example when a man is falling in love, even those small, minute details that even sometimes you might forget about yourself, or you might not always be thinking about, he's thinking about because that's how much you're on his mind. This next point on the checklist not only represents when a man is falling in love with you, but when he has deep, deep respect for you. When he always tries his best to ask your opinion on the decisions that are really important for him to make the right decision. For example, let's say he's considering multiple different job opportunities that could place him in different positions in the company that would lead to different, career paths and career results, and maybe even slightly different locations. And he comes to you and he says, look, I really value your opinion, and I want you to tell me, based on everything that I described to you about how I feel about things and what I'm weighing and how I'm weighing things, tell me your own personal opinion on what you feel would be the best decision for me, or the other factors that I might be missing in my decision that I just might not be aware of. And overall, what do you think is the best decision, factoring in also what you want as well, and what you need as well, and our relationship needs as well? It's a very, very clear sign. Not only does he want to get your opinion because he values your opinion and he respects your opinion, but he deeply loves and cares for you. And he wants to make sure that he doesn't make a decision that would actually go against the love and the relationship and all of the time and energy that you both have put and sacrificed for this relationship, to just throw it away for a decision that could make the relationship actively worse. Why? Because no man wants to make a decision that negatively affects the woman he deeply cares about. Because if I deeply care about a woman, then her happiness is at the top of my priority list. I can never separate my love and desire for my woman and pretend like her happiness doesn't matter, because her happiness affects my ability to be happy as a man. So I can never make a very important decision in my life, and I truly love a woman, and I don't factor in how that decision affects her if I say that I truly love my woman, especially if that that decision could literally be the difference between my woman being happy and my woman being very, very upset. Next on our checklist, we have adjustments, meaning he is very, very happy to make adjustments for you to the point where you don't even have to ask him to make the adjustment. He just makes the adjustment when he sees it need be. For example, let's say you are gluten-free. So you start dating this guy and you let him know, yeah, you know, I can't have gluten, so there's certain things I have to avoid, certain things I can't eat. And if I do eat certain things, I have to eat specifically the gluten-free version of it. And he's like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't have anyone in my family that is allergic to gluten, and I've never really experienced a gluten allergy before. But what I'll make sure to do is all the stuff that I used to buy, you know, bread, this, that, right? I'll always buy the gluten-free version, and you'll just see him now naturally start to stock up. If you guys go to the grocery store together, you'll notice that he starts to specifically go to the aisle that serves the gluten-free version and be like, oh, no, I can't get that because we need to get the gluten-free version for you, right? And you're like, well, I don't come over to your place all the time. And he's like, no, but it doesn't matter if you don't come all the time. I want to make sure that when you do come, if you sleep over or you spend some time here, that the gluten-free version is available to you. I don't want you to come over to my place and be uncomfortable because the food that I have at my place is not food that you can eat. That doesn't make any sense. I value the fact that when you come over to my place, because I care about you, I want you to feel at home and feel comfortable in my place. So I make an adjustment with the food that's in my cupboard and in my fridge just so that you can feel more comfortable at my place. It's a perfect example of a man making an adjustment that, sure, he doesn't necessarily have to make the adjustment, but he happily, naturally makes the adjustment. Again, because your happiness is at the top of his priority list. This next one is a funny one, but when you realize it, you'll realize, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So when a man sets aside specific space in his place for you and for your things, telltale sign he's falling in love with you. So for example, let's say you go over to his place, right? And you've been over there a couple of times. And let's say you spent the night there a couple of times. But like, obviously, when you spend the night at his place, he lives in like a bachelor pad. So everything is centered around what a guy needs. All the drawers and the organization is for what he needs and how he likes things to be set up. And then one day you come over to have like a planned sleepover or something. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I want to show you something. And you go to the bathroom. He's like, so I know that you have like your makeup stuff, and then you have your makeup remover, and then you have like all this other stuff that you usually bring in like this big bag and stuff, right? So what I did is I cleared out a drawer in my bathroom. This drawer is specifically just for you and your stuff, so that like you can just keep your stuff here and you don't have to like lug everything with you in a travel bag back and forth, right? And then maybe he might say, okay, well, this drawer in my closet as well is going to be for you, that you can keep things, your stuff that you want to wear at night, or like your hair bonnet and things like that, so that you don't have to feel like, damn, I have to take everything with me, take everything back home, and then take everything back here every time I go back and forth, right? And you're over here thinking, wow, how thoughtful of you to set aside space specifically for me. The reason he's doing that is because in his mind, you are now becoming a part of his life. So again, it doesn't have to be like pulling teeth. He naturally feels like, well, this woman that I want to be a part of my life is now becoming a part of my life. So I ingratiate her in my life, in my everyday things of how I do, and prioritize the fact that if she's going to be a part of my life, she needs to be comfortable in my life. I can't have her coming over and being uncomfortable. Again, it's a perfect example of like when you're on the front of a guy's mind, all of these things come very natural to, you'll find yourself thinking, I wasn't even thinking of that. You thought of that even before me, because you're on the front of his mind. So he's already thinking, oh, okay, what does she need? Like, what's important to her? What matters to her? How can I make her life easier? How can I make her life more comfortable? Which leads me right into my next point, which is building a routine around speaking to you and being around you. So for example, let's say, every day he leaves work, he has like an hour and a half commute, right? And so he makes it a habit that every time he's coming home from work on his hour and a half commute, because that's usually his free time to be able to talk, he always calls you on that hour and a half commute and you guys speak. Maybe you're also free at that time, let's just say for the sake of example. And so as a routine, on his drive back from work, he picks up the phone and he calls you like clockwork, to the point where you just expect, all right, at 5:30, as soon as he gets off, he's going to call me, to the point where if there's a day where he doesn't call you, you're actually concerned because it's become such a part of his routine and your expectation of how often he talks to you and the frequency that he speaks to you, that you're like, if he doesn't do that, then that's weird. Something really bad must have happened to him. Another sign that a man is falling in love with you is he will introduce you into his lifestyle. Now, there's a couple of things I really want you to pay attention to. I'm not just talking about friends. I'm not just talking about family, even though I am talking about those things, but he'll also introduce you to aspects of his life that are a bit more private or a bit just more outside of the norm. For example, let's say he's really into jujitsu. He'll be like, oh, I would love for you to come and watch, my jujitsu match, or, come to practice with me and see me, do my jujitsu and do my stuff, right? Or come to my men's league basketball game, or come to my men's league basketball practice. I don't know why you'd be at the practice, but just let's say, right, for the sake of example. And so now it's not just, come around my friends while we go to the bar. You get what I'm saying? Or, yeah, my sister's in the background, say hi to my sister. It's like, no. Like, these are parts of my actual life. The things that I enjoy, the things that I take pride in, the things that I'm passionate about. I want you to be there. I want to be able to see you on the sideline. I want to be able to just have you be present while I do the things that I love to do. And he starts to ingratiate you into his everyday life happily because he feels a boost of dopamine and happiness to do the things that he already loves and are already part of his lifestyle and routine, but then have you a part of that as well. For our next point on the checklist, he is silly with you. I know it sounds silly to say, oh yeah, him being silly means that he's falling in love with you. It's like, okay, it's just him being silly. But what you have to understand is guys generally, they have to have a very, kid-like inner child and allow that inner child to come out because, all guys have that inner child in them. It's just sometimes when you grow up and you're supposed to be a man and a manly man, supposed to be hardcore, you feel like, oh, well, I can't let that out around everyone because some people might judge me. Some people might think I'm immature because of this inner child. And so the reason I say that is because if you notice that he's like able to let loose around you, like let's say, maybe not necessarily when you guys are out in public, but when you guys are in private, especially, you notice a difference, right? When he's out in public and he's around other people, you notice like he's very buttoned up, he's very stand up straight, he's very no nonsense. Then when you guys are alone together, he's cracking jokes, he's having fun, he's being silly and goofy with you, and you're just like a big kid, right? In a good way, like in the sense of like, I can tell you're enjoying yourself. Like I can tell that the uptight, really like no nonsense version of you, that's for the public. I specifically get this more childlike, this more innocent, this more fun side of you because you're actually able to let your guard down. You're not so worried about being judged. You're not so worried about being seen. You're not so worried about having to have this uptight machismo, macho version of yourself all the time. Even though at times, of course, you're going to want to be a man, but at the same time, you're able to let loose and have fun and enjoy yourself. Trust me, I know it sounds shocking, but men really genuinely being able to enjoy themselves with you is a very big deal because men like to put up a front like they don't have feelings, like nothing matters to them, like nothing bothers them, and they're always okay. So the fact that they can be silly and also show you emotion and show you passion and just be themselves, you'll be able to tell the difference between a guy who's putting on a facade and a guy who's really being his real authentic self. Because the real authentic person has layers. They're not going to be one way all the time where everything they do is always so perfect, right? You'll notice the flaws in their character, the quirks in their character, the sides of them that are a little bit more silly or innocent or just different than what they show the public. That's a perfect sign that he's falling in love with you, that he can show you that. This next one you might not realize, but it actually really is important, is that he always is very good at planning logistics for you to the point where you don't even have to plan any logistics for yourself, especially when you guys are interacting or meeting up, and he handles everything. So for example, anytime you guys are planning a date, he's always like, okay, we're gonna meet here at this time. I'm gonna pick you up at this time. All you have to do is make sure that you're ready. I already got the reservation. I already set the time that we're gonna do. And even after we go on this dinner, this is the next thing in our itinerary. And you notice like anytime you guys hang out, he always has a very clear structured itinerary of exactly what you're gonna do, exactly when you're gonna meet up. Like he's always doing all the planning and organizing to the point where you're just like, oh, I can actually just walk around and like turn my brain off, and I know like it's just gonna get done. Like to the point where I actually trust that I don't even think about whether it's gonna get done. I just say okay because I trust that you'll always figure it out. And anytime you find yourself in a situation like that where he is so trustworthy with the logistics, you almost feel like I don't even have to think about the logistics, then you know that man is definitely falling in love with you, because the fact that he is taking that much control over the outcome in the relationship to make sure that you're good, to the point where you don't even have to think about whether or not you're good, you just know you're good, and he definitely always takes care of it, and you guys build that trust with each other, it's a very clear sign that he's falling in love with you, because men don't bother to put that much work and effort into planning and organizing and structuring for women they don't care about. Trust me very much, because we talk about this a lot on the YouTube channel. The men that don't care, that don't give a damn, they don't do any planning, they don't even care, okay? So they're just looking for how they can get things for themselves and get those things for themselves by putting forth the absolute bare minimum effort. Another really important one is that he understands and prioritizes your schedule. So for example, he'll learn like, okay, you're a nurse, you usually work from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. So he'll mention, oh, I know that you're usually off on Sundays. So I was thinking we could do a thing where we go to an aquarium on a Sunday, because I know on Monday you're usually gonna start at 3. So it'll probably be better, because you were mentioning that, you know, you like to hang out with your family on Saturday, and especially around this time when you're going through this thing. So you want to be around your family. So we'll give you that day. And then Sunday will probably be the best day I was thinking for us to go to the aquarium. And then even if we're out late, then you don't start work until 3 p.m. You'll notice like he's really taking in your schedule, not just like asking you every time, oh, when do you work? You know, I work every day, 3 to 11, or every Monday to Friday, 3 to 11. Like that's my regular schedule, right? He just kind of puts it into memory, and he's like, okay, so this is your schedule. Now, if I already know this is your schedule, I'm just going to make plans for us to hang out and do things around this schedule since you shared that with me, right? And it's like he takes that into account, and he's like, okay, well, these are the things that are important to you, so I'm not going to encroach on those times, whether it be work or things that you regularly do with your family or your friends. And he's like, okay, that time is for you. You're already doing something during that time. So I tried to block out a time that I assumed would be free to you that we can use to hang out during this time, because I know usually during this time you're free. Unless you're not, but usually I know you're usually free during this time. This one is a little bit easier to spot. He just loves fixing your problems. When I say loves fixing your problems, I don't mean like every problem you have, he loves the problem. He loves the idea of coming to your rescue and figuring out how to fix your problem or help you with that problem, because it's your problem, not because of the problem. It's the fact that it's you, and he gets to like play the hero and swoop in and like solve the thing for you. So for example, let's say like your laptop is having freezing issues, right? And you're like, I really don't understand what's going on with my work laptop. I can't get it to work, and I can't get this project done because I'm not able to get my laptop to stop freezing. And he's like, you know what? Even if he's not a tech guy, he's like, you know what? Let me do some research. Let me ChatGPT it. Let me Google it. Let me see if I can find an answer. And he's over here doing research, trying to figure out what's wrong with your laptop. Oh, turn it over. Okay, unplug it. Let me see what that looks like. Show me that picture of that screen, right? And it's not because he loves solving tech problems or laptop problems or getting laptops unfrozen. It's because he knows that if he helps you solve that problem, it increases the quality of your life. And trust me, men love nothing more than having utility to the women that they actually care for and care about, because we derive a lot of our value as men from being resourceful, right? Like being useful to people, especially the people that we love and care about. Our next point in the checklist is about support. He gladly and happily supports you in anything that you do. See, there's a very stark difference between a man who hates you, because sometimes you'll be sleeping with a man who hates you, and a man who truly is falling in love with you or is already in love with you, is that he will always be your biggest cheerleader. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how you're doing it. It doesn't even matter if you're good at it, okay? You could suck at whatever it is you're trying to do. You could be trying to take up a hobby of painting, and you could be the worst painter ever. I'm talking your paintings are god awful. You can't even draw stick figures good. And when you're showing him your paintings that you're working on, he's like, babe, you know, that's not bad. Even though the ears are as big as the head, I'm telling you, your painting's getting a little bit better day by day. You just keep working. And I'm telling you, there's something there. There's something there. It's because, right, when he's falling in love with you and when he really likes you as well, it's really hard for him to see any wrong in the things that you're doing. And it's really hard for him to be like, oh, you suck.